One more second. We're live.
All right. I will call this meeting to order. It's May 6th meeting of the Glendale River Hills Board of Education. Let's see. We'll start with roll call. Danielle Bailey.
Here.
Karen Cronwell.
Here.
Katie Avalos.
Here.
Chris Robinson.
Here.
And Carla Pennington Cross is me. I am here. All board members are present. At this time, if you wish, you may stand and join in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1D, agenda approval.
I move to approve the agenda. Would I make the exception now or
No, let's get the second and then we.
as presented? Second.
All right, motion and second, and there was a suggestion for a revision to the agenda.
Want to amend the motion then, or just, I
I
would move to amend the motion to accept the.
No, you would move to amend the agenda, right?
Oh,
Revise the agenda. What? I
sure,
never
sure,
remember Robert's rules.
sure, that works,
We
no,
can
that
be
works,
flexible.
I move I move to revise the agenda and move item, I believe it's 5A, summer maintenance priorities. To the top of the order of 3.
Yep, so put it right before.
Right after
the
public
board.
comments first, because it's brief and I'd like to honor our custodians.
Yep.
Tonight, up until they went home.
Anyone opposed to that? Okay. I think we can be informal about this, so there's a motion to approve the agenda with summer maintenance moved up to above 3A. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Thank you. Item 1E, approval of board meeting minutes for April 22nd, 2026.
Move to approve the meeting minutes for 4/22/26 as attached.
Second.
Any comments, revisions, edits? Okay, hello, Mr. Allen, come on in. All right, there's a motion by Chris Robinson, second by Karen Cronwell. Hello. Motion by Chris Robinson, second by Karen Cronwell to approve the minutes for the April 22nd meeting. All in favor? Aye, minutes are approved. Moving on to the meeting grounding. I have some slides, but before I do that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that this is Teacher Appreciation Week. So how wonderful that we have some teachers here to accept our appreciation. You are the beating hearts in many ways of our children's lives when they're in school, and you do incredible work, and I'm grateful. And I think I can speak for everyone on this board to say how extraordinarily grateful we are to each of you for being here, for showing up every day, for serving our kids, to bringing your best, even when it's hard. And yeah, there are a million different ways we could say it, but I hope you know how much this board values you and everything that you give every day. All right, quick grounding today. This is a grounding I shared in July, and I thought we should revisit it because today we're voting for new officers and I might not be the president by the end of this meeting. We just don't know. But I wanted to ground us in one of our equity non-negotiables, which is that we listen to each other. It's up here, right? Yeah, we listen to each other. It's our fourth equity non-negotiable. And there were two specific expressions of that in our longer equity non-negotiables about sharing power and creating safe and brave spaces for all voices. And I know on this board, we work very hard to model that and to share space with each other. Hello, Ms. Naisha, welcome. And I want to make sure that we just return to this once in a while and keep doing what we're doing. What does it mean to listen to understand? I think of myself when I'm trying to listen to understand as a sponge that's receiving instead of as a brick that's bouncing. We receive information, we try to understand it, we remember what we hear, we evaluate what we hear, and if appropriate, we respond. And that's sort of the cycle of listening to understand. And I think we've been doing a pretty good job on this board of doing that with each other. So I really appreciate that. When we do teaching around responsive listening, I guess I shouldn't call it responsive listening. When we talk about listening deeply, we distinguish between listening to respond and listening to understand. So I put meh, we could say 6, 7. When we listen to respond, we're really not being a sponge, we're being a brick. We're listening on the surface, not really paying attention because our heads are full of our own thoughts, right? We're going straight to answers and advice in our heads instead of bringing in what the other person is saying to us. We might be interrupting. We might be moving to tangents. We might be serving our own curiosity, right? Like chasing shiny objects, like what you just said reminds me of something else. I want to think about that. And we might start editorializing. We might not hear what's actually being said to us. We might be hearing what we expect to hear or want to hear. And I think these are things we all naturally do as human beings, right? As we look for safety in our minds. And that's one way to listen. I believe a preferred model of listening, especially from a leadership table perspective, is to listen to understand. And really that's about finding empathy, right? We pay attention to what other people are saying. We put aside our own thoughts. We don't interrupt. We suspend judgment and interpretation. And we listen for the meaning behind the words. I think of that as open heart, open mind, right? Just sort of sitting and letting it come in and hearing. And then if we have questions, we ask it to understand, not to challenge. And as two lawyers, that's hard for Danielle and me, right? So trying to listen to understand and always pausing to reflect and evaluate before we respond. So that's my grounding. I know we've worked on this all year and I just want to remind us that we can keep growing always and that we're doing a great job. So thank you, boardies. Thank you, teachers who are here for sitting with us through that. All right, at this time, we move on to public comments. At this time, visitors may speak on any non-agenda item. Is there a sign-up sheet?
Yeah, I signed up first.
Hold on a second, let me see. who's
Even
on
if
the
we
list.
don't want, or we end up not speaking, I'm just.
Of course,
just
you
in
can
case.
end up
Okay.
not speaking. I just
Yeah, we're
want
not
to
gonna
say.
force anybody to speak.
No.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
You signed up. you're
It's not
gonna-
a contract, so if
Yeah.
you decide you'd like to speak, you can raise your hand, we'll ask.
Thank you.
It's, for me, it's just about room management, time,
No,
right? Because we've
definitely.
got a busy schedule. I just want to see how many people.
It's
Oh, it's just 2. Okay. All right. That's all I need then. All right. All right, so we've got Ms. Robertson,
Yes.
and I believe I shared with you our
Yes.
visitor
So I say my name and my address.
name and address. Feel free to sit or feel free to stand, whatever makes you most comfortable.
Okay, sounds
All right,
good.
thank
I'm
you.
Ashley Robertson, located at 5515 North Shasta Drive, Glendale, Wisconsin, 53209. I wanted to return this book. My son Nick checked out back in January to the district. It's called Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson. It's a picture book written at roughly a first grade reading level. My son is in 5th grade. This is a child who can identify world flags, every type of tornado, and every part of an airplane. So I remember wondering, why would my son bring home a book like this? I asked him to read it to me. After he finished, I asked him, is someone bullying you? He said no. He lied to me. Not because nothing was happening, but because he thought he could handle it himself. Still, a subtle cry for help. At the same time, I had already noticed changes in him. He became withdrawn, quiet, less social. Something was wrong. Then his psychological evaluation came back soon after and pointed directly at the school environment. I was furious because I expected this school district to keep my child safe from the moment he gets on the bus until the moment he walks through the door. And yet the bullying culture within this school, especially on the bus, is already known. I think the recommendation is just drive your kid. There's a culture of silence, don't snitch culture, a culture where parents who advocate, question, speak publicly are discouraged or censored, while bullying behavior becomes minimized, excused, or ignored until it escalates. Because and I want to be very clear about something. That culture harms children of color the most. Because when children believe reporting won't matter and will make things worse, then they stay silent. Reporting drops and suffering becomes invisible. Thankfully, my son reached a threshold where he finally told me the truth. And once he saw that I took action, he felt protected again. And I also want to address the district's messaging. Mr. William stated at the beginning of the school year in orientation in front of all the parents, there will be zero tolerance if there was violations of the handbook. Please stop using zero tolerance while simultaneously showing immense tolerance towards bullying behavior. Those things can't coexist. And when my son finally came forward, the delay and attitude of leadership was so deeply concerning to me that I filed a police report. And I encourage all parents to do that. File a police report. That way, everything becomes public and parents can make informed decisions on whether this culture of this school aligns with their family values, because it doesn't align with mine. Here's your book back. I suggest you all read it. Rest in peace, Quentin Espinosa. We should never forget what losing one of our own children in our community taught us. But it seems like we have. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right, Ms. Litz? Yes.
Oh,
please.
sorry.
Yeah, you can come to the table or sit where you are, whatever makes you comfortable. You just need to state your name and address for the record.
Sure.
And then,
My name is Jennifer Whittig. I live at 6910 Beechtree Drive. I'm not going to share a lot of the personal specifics about my son and everything that he has gone through in the last 3 years, which is documented, and we worked very hard to create a partnership that had support for the teacher, like in last year when we had a problem. But we also advocate for our son as much as possible. I'm an HR leader. Actually, earlier today, we have a best places to work company, and I really take pride in that. There was something going on between some employees that I spent hours on, because I feel like employees should never feel, and nobody should ever feel like they don't want to come to school or to work. And over the past 2 years, my son is very gifted. He's a shy, kind kid. And there was a group of kids, one in particular, that targeted him after he stood up for other kids being hit and bullied. That night, and this is why I saw Ashley's post on the same school site by the same facilitator that I have had mean comments and interactions where she's censored for years, and I've always been told that's that Glen Hills parent site. Unless you're talking about like what to wear tomorrow, like there's never really anything of substance. I've given up on that. Thank goodness my kids are back in Nicolay now. But with that, I just made a post that did not go against any of the guidelines of that site. It was just in support of saying, I really hope that and I did not know Ashley. This is the first time I've met her. Just stays up here that there's some of awareness, because 2 years I'm still dealing with this. And on November 6th, when I wrote something, or early November, I wrote, is anybody having any other issues? Like maybe it's my kid, right? Like you never know. Like in this class, I didn't point any names or anything. I was a parent trying to find some kind of common ground, because there was something going on with my son that if there was many nights that I was up till 2 a.m. with him. I came to this, I posted that, it was taken down. I then went to the school to talk to Mr. Williams, and I'm just looking at an email that my husband sent as a follow-up to Mr. Williams. One of his concerns, concern number 2, and this is on November 6, 2024, censorship. It is also my understanding that during the conversation with my wife, you scolded her for writing on Facebook with other parents to see if the issues our son is experiencing is one, or is it a one-off or widespread. Above all things that this country is founded on is freedom of communication and speech. As a public institution, the first reaction a parent should not have to be, the first reaction to a parent should not be to censor the parent or abolish them or when communicating with others. If there is a policy of Glen Hills or the Glendale River Hills School District that limits the communications by parents about issues occurring at the school, please provide that in writing. I hear that this is a parent monitored site, but then it should be a parent and monitored site because that post that I made was just the previous night. And I went right away. I took off time from work the next morning and I was being scolded about it. So but things kind of settled down last year. The same kid has targeted my son. My son was going to the bathroom earlier this year and was hit from behind and then jumped by the same kid. The hoops that I had walked for 2 years where we were trying to find support and work with the school to just get the kid to not be in the same class with my son. I mean, my son came out of the bathroom and was attacked. I come here, there's multiple times, and it's always like, well, did he tell the teacher? You know, like there wasn't the cooperativeness, many follow-ups, and I get that there's a lot of things going on and everyone has very hard jobs. I know when I have employee investigations, they are extremely hard, they are extremely taxing, and they're extremely time consuming. But the amount we had to file a police report too, because I wasn't sure if things were being brought up to the right attention, and I didn't want it escalated above the principal of the school. And I'm not putting blame on any one person, but the fact that I put a message of support to somebody that just wants to have more visibility, and then I saw other parents, and then every single parent that said I had a concern was removed and banned from the site. To me, that's concerning because my son is still dealing with some of these issues. My son has texted my husband. He's a rule follower. By every rule my son will follow to a T. He went into his locker and said, "You need to pick me up now." When I came in and talked to the principal, I would again, well, why would, you know, like I was getting scolded again, like that my son didn't feel safe at school. My son is still getting bullied by certain individuals, and it told his gym teacher just last week. And I'm actually glad that you posted this because I had more conversations with my son and he seemed again a little bit withdrawn. We tried to have these open conversations. It's continuing. He said something to the gym teacher and the teacher, and I'm not going to put the words he said on record because I can't remember them verbatim. And this is a little hard for me to stand up here and say, and usually I can do good at public speaking. But she just, oh yeah, well, we got to get going. We got to go. And like dismissed my son. So yes, my son's not going to go to the teachers all the time because he's been dismissed so many times. He has been verbally, so almost every day he gets picked on. He is a shy little kid, has a kind heart. He is a gifted child. And his self-esteem is so low. And it breaks my heart because I pride myself as an HR leader to just take care of everybody. And whether they're whoever they are, and if they have differences, and I don't know if it's because he's a little neurodivergent and like he's maybe easier to pick on, I don't know. But there needs to be something done, and there needs to be more open communication. It's all about being better, and it concerns me when things get shut down, and it concerns me when parents have to jump through so many hoops just to get a phone call back. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you do. I just want to make sure that we don't get into the situation that somebody else gets hurt. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I know it's hard to talk about how our kids hurt.
Yeah.
I know that's hard, and I appreciate both of you coming and being willing to be vulnerable and share those concerns. I do want to clarify one thing, which is that I believe the Facebook site you're talking about, someone called it a school site. That is, you're talking about the parent Glen Hills Facebook page, right?
Yes, but I
Not
think
the
it's been
district
through the
Facebook
years. Lindsay is very close to a lot of people, and I mean the fact that just hours later.
Okay, I don't know about that, but what I just want to make clear that is not a district run site. I just need to make that record clear. What we're talking about is not the district Facebook page, which we have, but is the parent moderated parent page, right? That's what you're talking about, not the district page, right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you for
Yep.
making that public delineation.
Yep, okay. All right, anyone else, anyone online who wishes to make public comment? Thank you very much for coming. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. We appreciate you. All right. Anyone else?
I see no comments yet.
Okay, moving on to item new 3A, summer maintenance priorities. Gentlemen,
I'm Kevin Conkel, I work at
come on.
Whale Elementary School. Which day would you like me? I'm ready to go anywhere.
Kevin, it's good to see you at our meetings. Brandon, it's good to see you both. Come join us at this table.
Brandon.
I'm Brandon Hasley.
Yeah.
I'm Glenn Hills,
Yeah.
custodian.
I guess we're just gonna really sum up what we do all summer long, when a lot of people think we're just have the summer off, but we're busy working. But just a brief thing, we get summer cleaners in the summer, which we absolutely need because we can't do the job with what we have. So the summer help is like outstanding. We're lucky to have them and we need them more than anything, but basically I'm just gonna start out what we start with, like as soon as school's done, we hit the road and we start attacking classrooms. And when we started with the classrooms, like whatever you see in the middle of the room, we'll grab the table, we'll scrub her down, flip her upside down. And most tables are metal, so we have to dry everything off too. And then we head out to the hallway and we gotta keep track of where every classroom's furniture is. That's a job in and of itself. And
Can't forget about summer school
yeah.
here at Glen Hills.
But after we get all the furniture out, we basically just wipe all the walls down, we dust everything. If certain rooms need like an insane amount of touch-up paint, that's getting done. We moved on to the carpets. Every classroom at Parkway's got massive heavy rugs. They all have to be rolled up, labeled, and those get shipped off to the gym or the lunchroom to get cleaned at another time. The carpets then vacuumed, and then a lot of the rooms have multi-surface floors, so we'll have tile. That tile is then scrubbed, and then it is re-waxed, and yeah, that's about what we do in each individual classroom. The carpet cleaning, yeah, I didn't miss that. The carpet cleaning. Carpet has to get cleaned with the carpet machine and then dried in a timely fashion with fans. And by the time that dries up, we're moved on to the next rooms. Everything gets shoved back in that room when it's done and cleaned, and we try our best to put it back together the same way it was when we took it apart. So that's a lot of pictures and scrolling and like, oh, did that go over there? But yeah. That's how the classroom cleaning goes.
Moment
Go
of
classrooms.
empathy for the teachers who are here.
Yeah. And if the teachers have everything on their list, like, oh, they need something done in the room, that's the time we do that as well. So, but
On Glen Hills, we have a pool. Don't forget about that. We also maintain that in the last day of pool. Nick Lake uses the pool a lot too. Last day, so we shut down the pool, clean the surge tanks, filters for the pool. That's another story of its own. That takes a lot of time. Lots of hallways, lots of carpeting here, summer school. We have to clean up early for summer school, afterwards, between that. Jennifer may know, clean up before and after summer school. And then once that's done, story of its own, we can speak for days. Carpeting, top to bottom, hallways, scrub, relax. Keep all of the classrooms together. Oh, and then moving classrooms for the next school year. Oh, jeez. Keeping all of that,
This is awesome.
you know, we can talk for days.
You must do a podcast.
Restrooms, restroom sinks, tile, hallways, floors, locker rooms, we can scrub those.
Brandon's got his favorite bathroom machine. It's called the Kayak. It's basically a pressure washer, a vacuum, all in one, and he loves it. It's a great machine. All these faucets and toilets have batteries in them, which a lot of people don't know, because sometimes they magically flush. No one knows how they're flushing, but I mean, just everything takes a lot of work in the bathrooms too, in and of itself. A lot of leaks all the time. I mean,
Roof drains.
we just try to get it all nice and clean and safe and ready for the next school year. It's literally from top to bottom. the inside of the building, we put a lot into it and
Tons of work.
yeah. We just want it ready, safe. What else we have?
Kitchens.
Oh, kitchens, yes, we got kitchens. Glen Hill's kitchen's a lot bigger, but it's a thorough cleaning of top to bottom, the walls, all the stainless steel,
Grease traps.
grease traps.
Yes, we could talk for days to find those. Light bulbs, every fixture's gotta get opened, dusted, replaced. There's a ballast that runs each light bulb in each fixture. If light bulbs don't light, there's a ballast that runs them, and we have to rewire each ballast. Yeah, Parkways run.
We got a lot of glass at Parkway, lots of windows.
Yeah.
I can't say every year I say I want to count how many panels of glass there are in that building, but I mean, you just think you walk down that hallway, every room, then the outside windows, and then it rains outside, and then it looks like you didn't clean the outside windows. But I mean, there's a lot of windows there. We spent a couple of days alone on just outdoor windows at Parkway, but yeah,
You also have LED lighting there.
yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, LED lighting is nice. Yeah, the roofs, we maintain the roofs, not like at your house drains where you just have gutters. Our roofs are flat, but there's drains up there and there's screens basically that catch all the debris that goes on the roofs. I don't know how some of the stuff gets up there, but you gotta clear those out, make sure no water's pooling up on top of the roofs.
We have Mother Goose that comes every year.
Yeah.
It likes to clog the drains. And we have to help them get down also, so then they can leave.
What else you got?
Exterior, grass maintenance,
We do have a lawn service, which is thankfully we have a lawn service because I mean that's a full-time job in and of itself, and we tried in the district in the past to do it in the house. It just became outrageous, but there's still a ton of outdoor work that gets done that I mean I feel like Glendale, I always say, is a place where trees go to die. I just feel like there's dead limbs everywhere always. I just feel like a nonstop picking up
Even looking-
tree limbs.
every time you go through Clutch Park, look at how many limbs are down.
It is,
Yeah.
it is a tree city.
It is a tree
Right.
city.
For some odd reason.
Yeah.
it's like to. Right.
Well, and every ash in America is dying, so there's a lot of dead trees the last decade.
It's not just on our property.
Yeah, it's just always like they're all.
I mean, the lockers, every locker we take care of, we clean. Every locker that gets cleaned has to be dried because it rusts. The stickers that are in them. I mean, a lot of the summer helpers, it's their least favorite thing to do is clean all the lockers, but
Gym floor.
we gotta do it. Yeah.
First need to be done each, every other year.
Oh.
Painting. Kids like to do paint. Yes.
Does anyone have any questions about anything else that may think that we? Anything? Okay, let's go.
We'll start with Danielle. She's up.
First, thank you
Okay.
for
Any
this,
questions?
presentation. Oh my gosh, that is so much work, and I'm just thinking like, one of you should maybe be the chair of our facilities committee when that comes around, because you just have clearly a very intensive working knowledge of our buildings, what they need, and so that's great. I actually have a question about our lawn service. They just do the grass, or are they supposed to like weed the playgrounds as well, or is that our team? You know what I'm talking about, like over
Yeah,
there?
they will not weed, they're not
Okay, so
hired
that's
to weed the
outside. Okay,
playgrounds. Yeah,
cool.
correct. And they trim what you would know as like they're not gonna trim between cracks with their weed whackers, like if like random cracks are, but they will trim the edging.
Okay,
So that's what we have them to do.
thank you.
Yeah, worse.
Karen?
Well, so my son was one of your summer cleaners last year, and I got to hear a lot about the gum and the stickers and. So, and also my whole career has been in school, so I appreciate you very much. My best allies inevitably have been our engineers and being able to accomplish what I need to do for students, so I appreciate your hard work. And if anybody has any question about exactly how time consuming this is, I will just stop you at bathroom cleaning. Yeah, particularly in middle schools, so. I just appreciate you guys, thank you.
Welcome.
Katie?
I just wanna say, like, Anna did not do you guys justice, like, this is, she gave us the list last year. Yeah. She did a really good job, and you're like, oh my god, that's so much work, but oh my, this was. Thanks for coming, guys.
No, let's go. Today's been a long day.
Yeah, I bet.
Finally got away from my ladies at home and I said,
Oh, thank you for being here.
as you may see them, we're
You guys are
always
great.
running.
Yeah.
We're 9.5 miles and just check that.
Oh,
17 floors.
I have to ask permission for my question because it's about another agenda item, but it has their expertise. Could I ask how the, how two part-time custodial positions would impact?
How do you feel?
I'm okay with her asking it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Since then you don't have to stick around. That's fair.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
There's a proposal tonight about approving two part-time custodial positions, and I wonder if you can talk about, you know, what that would do for your team and
There was.
There is.
Hail.
Did you just see that?
Yeah,
Really?
yes, we saw it.
How would it change your experiences and what you're able to do? I think is what.
Yeah,
Kind of
thank
where
you
you're
for
thinking,
translating.
yes.
I mean, I can say that, for instance, Brandon's at Parkway this morning to help me. And what do you think happened immediately? The notification, he had to be back here immediately, but then there's the fire alarm went off earlier today. It's just, if we get pulled away, which is frequent, and I mean, between here and Glendale Heights, just the opportunity of having some hours in the day where I can set aside to be able to focus on something, like things that I would normally not have time to do on my own. Like, and I would have to then call someone to, like, if I need to remove like entire pictures of a toilet, and then I got like messages saying like there's a puker at Parkway in the library. I mean, it's just, it's that there's just not the time to like focus needs on repair sometimes, where it's like, a lot of times I hate like, oh, I gotta call the plumber over to Good Hope. We ran into a situation, but I can't dedicate time in areas with my daily things like that on go throughout the day. So like someone part-time where where I know like I can work on something and not be disturbed would be very beneficial. And I think also in terms like save the district money for not having to call someone who's like a professional out to fix something that I know I can do, just don't have the time to do it. So, yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
Oh, do I ever? I just reached for my walkie-talkie as you've seen, but yeah, yes, we would team up, pull out a wrench to fix something and get a call, like he was said, for simple things to a puker or a drain back or a pooper that obviously we could fix. And just for a call, for something that we could have a runner to go.
Like even running to the
simple-
store, it's like, it's not like, I have to go to Ace a ton. I mean, and physically it's not the best place to go, but I know like running to Home Depot is not like, I can't just do that. I can't just be gone. I mean, I know it's only, 10 minutes, but 10 minutes times 2, and I'm 20 minutes away and something happened. I mean, it's just,
Saving $20
it's just,
per run.
it's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of
Thank
course.
Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank you. Great.
Pleasure.
And to add to that, to just also think about some of the division of role between Brandon and Kevin, and like having Kevin really focus on some of those maintenance needs, having Brandon really organize all of our cleaners. They also, in addition to this other work, have to place all of the orders for our supplies, our paper, our toilet products, like all of the cleaning supplies, those kind of things. So there's really a lot that's happening with a lot of intermediate interruption throughout the day. Yeah.
I have known
Okay.
you guys for a long time. It's my turn. Sorry, thank you. I should roast you had I known that you were gonna be so funny and fun. I would roast you, but I got to know you guys when Katie and Chris, you remember when we were doing all the volunteer work with the PTO, and I've never known more helpful people. I just really appreciate you. And you're right, you are always running. The reason you're always running is because you care so much about our kids and our
All the way from
community. So
Yep.
nothing but amazed by both of you always. I've never seen anything but a smile on your face. I don't think I've ever once heard either of you complain about anything, even when you sent me photos of stuff smeared on walls.
That was this guy. I would never do that.
I had to do today. I so appreciate you and that attitude, your role models for
Yes.
doing hard things, so, yeah, thank you. Anything else from board members for a gentleman? Anyone in the audience wish, have any questions or comments for?
Those helpers would benefit the district.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a parent here, yes?
Hopefully you're looking for 2 part-time custodians, it's from a budgetary standpoint, because a full-time person would be benefits.
Okay, I'm gonna pause that one because that's not a question for them, because we wanna let them go. So if you wanna stick around for that agenda item, we'll talk about that there. If anyone has questions for Brandon or Kevin,
So,
Nige, state your name and affiliation for the record,
Oh,
please.
my name is Nadia Timoin. I'm the 6th and 7th grade science teacher. So my curriculum involves a lot of chemicals. And I was actually this like a while ago, but am I supposed to be like giving like the disposal bags to you guys to take care of or? Okay.
Always work.
Gotta get it done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Really.
you
You're welcome.
so much.
Yeah.
You in the morning.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. And. And I want to thank teachers who are here for being patient as we honor our custodians' needs to move on. We'll just try to keep going here. We're on to the E4E plan now.
We love PLA.
Do you want to switch?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Teaching all day.
Any board objection to letting the teachers go first before the E4E? Perfect.
Under teacher appreciation day.
Yeah, let's make you stay longer. Okay, moving on to the PLA curriculum update.
Are you gonna show you?
Teacher.
There's so many. You almost all fell.
It's a snatch, really. No, you're gonna, because we're a small one and we're. I guess if there was an objection, someone would have to make a formal motion. Yeah. Hello, Ms. Day. Welcome.
So, we're here tonight, just to do a piece to, our annual reading curriculum evaluation report. One of the things we mentioned in that report is that we were gonna give you an update on how the HMH pilot, was going for our 6th through 8th grade students. So tonight, we do have Sandy Malone here. She's the, coach for the middle school, so she's been working on the implementation of HMH. And we have several of our teachers who are delivering, the curriculum to our students to share some of their insights as well. I do have a copy of the scope and sequence for the 6th through 8th grade curriculum, if you'd like to view that. And then, we also created, just kind of some highlights of the types of books, just, thinking about all of our, resolutions. Just wanted to highlight some of the diverse texts that are in the curriculum as well. And then I'll turn it over to Sam Malone, so she can share some of the overviews of the curriculum that we.
Okay, so how do I make this larger?
Could I ask one thing? I wonder if the teachers who are here could tell us your names. I wish we had a record of what teachers are here. Are they gonna speak?
Yes, they
during?
will be
Oh,
speaking
okay.
too, yeah.
Okay.
They're
I
getting
wanna
ahead
make
of
sure-
us, so.
Make sure we know.
Yes.
You're adjourned.
Okay, you want me to sit over there? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
I'm gonna stay.
But it's this I want to make larger.
Hey, guys. Just let me know whenever you're ready. I don't wanna.
And we'll try to hold our
Do
questions,
you want me
right?
to just project?
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it was James, but James was playing with everything this week.
Is this good, Sam?
It is. Hopefully the video will pull up you.
Okay, let me know.
I think it will.
Okay.
Let me know if you, when you need me to move, just give me a thumbs up.
Sounds good. I think so.
Hi, you guys. Like Jennifer said, my name's Samantha Malone, and I am one of the literacy coaches and interventionists here at Glen Hills Middle School. I primarily work with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade ELA teachers, which is why I'm giving this presentation. This is just going to be an overview of our new resource into literature, which is a product of HMH. And the goal of this presentation is just going to provide an overview of that resource as well as connect it to our district's pillars and goals. So this first slide is just a short, it's about 3-minute video. It's just a really good overview. So you guys have like a general basis of what some of the stuff that HMH offers.
Cut and paste, can you copy and paste it?
It won't let me do that either. I would say. Oh. Watch.
A lot of plans, those
Like, no, they just find the original.
You know, this person's here, but she's not.
He's super tight. He does all of this. Yeah. You don't have the video memorized? Can you just perform it for us? Dramatic.
Oh, yeah, the link is up.
If it doesn't work, we can just
Mine's
move on. It
working.
was working.
It's slow though
Yeah.
for some reason.
Yeah.
It was loud too.
He does
great.
it.
I can't get anything back.
This is how.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, I'm not able to. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Carry it. Give me just one quick section. It's not just something else. If somebody could forward it to me,
I'm doing it right now. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Just a review.
Video. I'm just kidding.
I watched it
That's
already.
the way.
It's pretty important.
It's pretty informative.
Except they block out the 6 units of like the themes. They're like,
Yeah.
"There's 6 units."
Yeah, that's why I think you
That's
guys
why you
asked for
have to
some
have
of
that.
the scope and sequence, yes.
Thank you.
But I guess while we're waiting, I can have the teachers introduce themselves.
Yeah.
They don't,
Yeah.
they'll get to, talk a little bit more at the end, but if you guys just wanna say your name and then what you teach, that would probably be helpful.
Adam Durant, 6th grade ELA. Glenn Allen, 7th grade ELA.
Laura Hops, 8th grade ELA. Grace Kreger, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade ELA.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, I very much appreciate the support.
All right. We're gonna be going in just a second. Here we go.
Welcome to Literature, HMH's curriculum for middle school ELA. Middle school students have a lot on their minds, and it's critical to catch and keep their attention. HMH's 6 to 8 curriculum was built with their developmental needs in mind, providing diverse, engaging texts that give students a sense of much-needed belonging. At the heart of the InterLiterature curriculum is the combination of classic, time-honored literature with contemporary pieces. This focus on engagement pairs with a consistent focus on skill building, providing plenty of opportunities for students to learn, practice, and master the skills they need for high school. Organized into 6 thematic units of instruction, InterLiterature provides middle school students with systematic, explicit instruction focused on advanced reading comprehension and higher order thinking. InterLiterature provides a consistent and structured framework for skill building. Each lesson is laser focused on 2 key skills, with explicitly stepped out routines that guide instruction, practice, and progress towards mastery. Students will encounter activities throughout the lesson to support their development and practice of these skills. They can also self-serve additional resources and practice activities if they need them, which is especially important to help middle school students foster independence. Students are most engaged when they see reflections of their own lives and experiences in literature, and HMH is committed to making sure they do. We are proud to share that InterLiterature now includes our HMH Fresh Lit series. We sought out both emerging and established young adult authors whose unique voices are especially engaging to students, and we specially commission them to write new stories for Into Literature that can't be found anywhere else. HMH Fresh Lit stories are shorter in length and accessible to all reading levels. The stories, as well as their accompanying lesson slides, are available in both English and Spanish. Making the connection between reading and writing is so important. Writable is our integrated digital writing platform that provides scaffolded writing activities that link directly to the Into Literature curriculum to make that critical connection. Writable also helps build a daily writing practice with short, high-interest writing activities that can be incorporated into every class. Grammar skill development is woven into the curriculum, with a number of whole class and independent activities sprinkled throughout each unit. Students will have multiple practical opportunities to learn and practice critical grammar skills and identify and correct the most common grammar errors in their writing. Into Literature provides support for every learner with scaffolding and differentiation options for striving, advanced, and multilingual learners. Into Literature was built for today's middle school ELA classroom, providing engaging literature paired with a strong focus on supporting students in building the skills they'll need for high school and beyond. We consider it a privilege to be part of their academic and personal growth as they become young adults.
Thank you guys. A brief overview, some of the key facets of Into Literature. So our goal is to ensure that every student has access to rigorous grade level instruction while also supporting teachers with high quality tools. And Into Literature does provide that structured, standards aligned approach to ELA instruction. And our focus in year one has really been to build consistency across classrooms and grade levels and building confidence. So we've done that through grade levels teams using shared pacing guides so we can ensure that all students experience the same priority standards. PLT teams are planning together and identifying which lesson components are essential. We've begun to review assessment data and identify trends, as well as reviewing student data to inform our reteaching. Next year, we'll really be focusing on refining and expanding our practice. Some of the goals that we'll be working on would be establishing common annotation routines for reading complex texts, using similar discussion protocols in every classroom, using small groups to target vocabulary, reading skills and writing skills based on student need, and increasing text-dependent questioning to deepen student analysis. So we wanted to obviously connect it to our district's pillars. So whole child growth and success Into Literature provides high quality grade level instruction for every student. So all students are receiving that grade level instruction at the tier 1 level. It also ensures rigor for all learners through accessible entry points and meaningful extensions that support and challenge students at all levels. It integrates reading and writing skills. So reading and writing are intentionally connected in daily instruction. With Writable, which you saw a little bit in there, students can benefit from real-time feedback and customized scaffolding. Beyond the end of unit writing tasks, which are done on Writable this year, students regularly write in response to what they read, and that may doesn't always happen on Writable. That's in notebooks or in their workbooks as well, using text evidence to support their thinking. So in order to ensure our pillar of exceptional staff and exceptional leadership, we've really been focusing on strong teacher support for year one. So we've had HMH-led trainings at the beginning of the year. There's been ongoing training via a HMH Coachly program. I provide instructional coaching throughout the year. Each ELA teacher has participated or is participating in a full coaching cycle. Coach-facilitated PLTs were held weekly to ensure fidelity to the curriculum, support the planning of rigorous instruction, and promote ongoing reflection on student learning. And additionally, I work, plan, and teach alongside them in their classrooms as requested. For year two, We will really be focusing on building teacher capacity and leadership, specifically when it comes to these HMH materials. So there'll still be HMH led training, both in person and online, using some of their professional learning pathways on Leaders Corner for HMH. There's going to be continued instructional coaching throughout the year, and each teacher will again be participating in a full coaching cycle. Next year, the PLTs will be teacher facilitated, focusing on our year 2 goals. And I will continue to work, plan, and teach alongside teachers in their classrooms as needed or requested. We all know that a collaborative and aligned school and community really strengthens student outcomes. And within Into Literature, there are several ways that we can engage and connect with our families. One is that we've used this year is the parent or guardian letter. This letter can go home to families, and it talks about the essential question, the skills that it's focused on, and the text that the students will be reading. In addition, there is another part of this called the family room, which we have not really dabbled in this year, but we'll be looking to next year to continue to engage with our communities. In order to be truly inclusive, we know that we have to go beyond reading and featuring a wide range in voices and topics. But when choosing a resource, we really wanted to ensure that it had that most basic component, and Into Literature really does. Some big takeaways across grade levels. In 6th grade, they really focus on identity, voice, and personal resilience. They feature some authors like Malala Yousafzai, Langston Hughes, Mary Tallmountain. In grade 7, there's a focus on perspective, choices, and societal roles. Some authors that are featured in grade 7 are David Yu, Naomi Shihab Nye, Kwame Alexander, and Walter Dean Myers. And finally, in grade 8, the overarching themes are justice, systems, and global and historical understanding, with authors like Eli Wetzel, Christina Enriquez, Frederick Douglass, and Nikki Grimes. And then finally, we are, as an ELA team, I can say, very happy with the curriculum and materials that we have for this year. But we know what really brings the curriculum to life and makes the biggest impact on our students is our teachers. And like I said, I have several of them here today to give just brief statements about how using HMH Into Literature as their primary resource has impacted their work and student learning and literacy. So don't know if you guys want to come up here.
Whatever works for you. Sit, stand, whatever you want. You've worked all day.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
I come over and
There's another chair. Here, Kelly. I'll sit by you. Hold it.
Hear this, guys. We got this. Okay.
You figure it out.
Should I have given us
It's fine. I'm standing up here. I can start. Hi, I already said my name, but I'm Laura. I'm our 8th grade English teacher. I'm gonna have my phone out because Sam very helpfully gave us some thought prompts that I want to make sure I address.
Not this.
So her
I don't know, I can't read it.
her first question for us was, how has student reading and writing performance changed since implementation? And I will say the change has been enormous. I have even the very first unit, I was like, who are these kids and what is happening in this room? They were right away having discussions. They were bringing in their prior knowledge to the text and interrogating it together. And one thing that I thought was really motivating and interesting about this curriculum, compared to our last curriculum, is that they're all talking about and reading about the same idea. So you're having really cool conversations, and kids are able to see that kind of hidden work of reading, and make the invisible visible through their discussions with each other. Yes, we're reading and we're writing, but speaking and listening is also a huge standard in middle school, and this has really brought that out for the students. Students are engaging with the text differently. I last week had 2 students who were arguing over their interpretation of the biography of Harriet Tubman and saying, no, look at this line in the text, like it actually means this. I think that that has been really cool and special, and that's really supported by the annotation work that this curriculum does. There's really scaffolded and supported annotation, so every time you read in the workbook, it has specific spots that it tells students to stop. And it helps them work on the skills. So if we're doing inferencing, it will say, look at line 42. Like, what inference can you make? And that's really, really important when we're thinking about all learners. Like, some of our 8th graders are already stopping and making inferences on our own, but we know that we need to bring everyone into the grade level content. And this does that. And like, it, once I'll say it again, but it makes that invisible thinking comprehension work that people are doing when they're reading competently on grade level visible for students who might be struggling with that. And it starts creating something for that thinking to stick to for them. And I do see students, like I said, thinking more deeply. They're making text to text connections, text to self connections. We did like a really cool visual imaging project that was part of the curriculum where they actually drew like a scene based on the text evidence. And I had a student say like, oh, I didn't understand what that line meant before, but then they had to think more deeply to visualize it. And students really are building independence as readers and writers, especially with those pieces like in grammar and vocabulary. I've had students go in and say, oh, I'm gonna use my morphemic analysis skills to break down this word. Oh, I'm seeing like autos in this word. Well, I know that means self. So they're taking the skills that we're teaching them, and they're not only applying it how we've told them to apply it in the classroom, but they're applying it on their own beyond it. And we're also seeing that in their STAR scores. They're looking at texts that they've never seen before, and we're seeing many students make huge growth, which is something that we want to see. So I think these are skills that they can take like beyond our classroom. And I love this curriculum. I think it's making a really big difference.
Can I ask a question? Okay.
Hold on a second. First of all, we just have to.
Sorry, you're in control, not me.
I'm gonna let all the teachers speak, and then I will make sure there's time for it, but hold on to it. And then just remind me if I forget. Next.
Thank you, Laura.
I mean, I think Laura summed it up. I'm also just coming from grad school, so my brain's not quite as articulate as yours right now. But the biggest thing that I think the different thing that I get to see is that I've looped with a lot of the kids. So I'm the one who's teaching one section of 6th, one section of 7th, and one section of 8th. And so a lot of my kids in both my 7th and 8th grade classes, I also taught them in 6th grade or in 7th grade. And I taught them using our old curriculum and then now the new curriculum. So it's been very cool to see the differences. Cool to see the engagement. Students who I would have a harder time getting into a book, getting into a novel, which we still are, of course, are including, and we are fostering that joy too. But they have more opportunities to see more texts, to fall in love with new authors, more spaces for them to grow. And so that's been, I think, the coolest part for me is seeing the differences and then also asking them and having students say, so I asked one of my kids, so I had in 6th grade and then 7th grade, I was like, well, what's your opinion? Like you're in the same classroom with me doing the same subject. So obviously you have a concrete understanding. You're not getting swayed by whoever your teacher was. And she was like, oh, I like it way better this year. I just feel like I feel like I'm getting a lot more. That was 2 Anna. She said 2 Anna, so I can she can back me up on that. But yeah, I think that was she had that. But that's the coolest part is being able to see that they too are really feeling a difference, seeing a difference from difference.
Thank you.
I think you talk about fostering that independence, and I think the really cool thing with this curriculum in particular is it gives that opportunity, like Laura was saying, for that scaffolded learning. You have guided questions so that kids can get into that curriculum, but you also have places where your kids that really can excel have opportunity to really go break apart the text and have an opportunity to really annotate and develop those skills that are really going to take them even further. So you have opportunity for those kids that really need that support to climb up to where they need to be, but then those other kids can still fly. You get a huge voice in different texts. I mean, we talked just today about surviving unthinkable situations and how that can be different. One of the essential questions was, what does it take to be a survivor? And then we talked about what a problem is for survivors. Is it just one of my classes only brought up, weather events, but then we talked about war as one of those things. Was that an unthinkable thing? Going through different things like that. So getting those different perspectives, having a ton of different voices at the table, and just bringing like looking forward to this curriculum. I'm really excited to bring in other things that can really broaden out, because this curriculum gives a ton of different places to really go really deep in some areas. And that's really exciting to me for when we're looking forward to start getting a ton of different outside experiences that kids can bring to the table even more than, you know, sticking to with the rigidity of the pilot that we've been currently doing.
Thank you.
Pardon me for my notes, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Again, my name is Glenn Allen, I'm 7th grade ELA teacher. I think how I begin the year is I want to go back to the old school days, right? I want to foster back a love for reading, a love for writing, a passion for it. And as you know, in the summertime, when we're coming off that long break, ELA is the last thing that young students want to do. So how has, the first question we were given was, how has student reading and writing performance changed since the implementation? I think the engagement has increased by a multitude because of the assortment of stories that are there. Not just the stories are different because you have a poem or you have a short story or you have a fictional story, but because students can see themselves in the story. They can see their characters mirroring their lives, not necessarily always themselves, but maybe parents or a relative or a cousin, or can glorify an experience that has taken place in that story that they can really relate to. So that really moves them up, gets them in their seats. And I got that 2-3 class, so you really got to, you know, set that tone right away, and they're there. So love that piece. Second question was, how are students engaging with the text differently? I think what I love about it is there's a beautiful mosaic going on in the room. You have students at various learning levels, but the curriculum works and fits for everyone. So you have high flyers, I call them in my room, high flyers who really need to be pushed, really need to have that critical thinking piece there, so that curriculum can be modified there. You have those students who are in the fringe, right? You have the students who are developing, but within a couple of heartbeats, we can get them to a proficiency within a matter of time. So looking at the skills, and they have a wonderful data process that lets you look at, analyze all the assessments, so you can go back and see what strands are being worked, what strands I'm missing, what strands particular groups. You can have some groupings with those and make sure that you're hitting all those pieces as you go along with that. So that's an excellent tool. We also have students with individual educational plans who are thriving right now. And I mean thriving utterly with their grade levels, with their confidence, with their speaking, taking academic and social risk in front of the class, in front of peers, and feeling good about the process. We have ELL students who are coming from different countries and learning and trying to balance the world around them and thriving and diving into these texts as well. So HMH is a soft landing spot for all kids from all backgrounds, from all places and stages in their life. So we like that about it. What evidence do you see that students are thinking more deeply? I think I call this like the slow motion piece. It's not just writing to get it over with. It's not just writing to complete this completion, this task. I want to get it done so I can go to the computer, or I can go do something else, or I can read the book I'm really interested in. You see them sitting in the space. Like all of us as adults, you see them contemplating, you see them going back into the text. We have highlighters that I've seen being used and are dried out because we are analyzing and looking at them. That's going on in all of our classes, from science to reading to math. You see it all there. So it's a culmination of all the hard work of all the teachers, not just the elect. But you also see this contemplating, these steps of drafting, editing, revising, renewing, asking questions, group, pair, share, think. You see an ensemble, right? You see an ensemble of instruments being played in that classroom, and the students are letting the melodies of those various texts lead them along the way. Another thing I'm seeing is this critical thinking, not just, this is how I feel, this is what I think, but going back to being able to cite, being able to find a line, being able to find the quote. This is going to set them up well for high school, where you just can't take things, and we're battling that AI issue, right? So where did you get it from? Why do you feel that way? And not only that, but how does it fit to the prompt? How does it fit to your claim that you're making? What's the relationship between those two things? Don't just put it on there, make a connection with it so that the other can learn from it. Pardon me for this, got some different color going on with this marker here. How are students building independence as readers and writers? I think for me, especially in the middle of May, it's like a proud papa moment. I don't have to hold hands. I don't have to sit next to you anymore. I don't have to hover over you. I can tell you what you need to do, and the kids are eager to do it, they're willing to assist one another to do it, willing to move around and help one another. We talk about life in the midst of it. Talk about how we're feeling about that day. I can throw a joke in there. I can do a little dance and I can show, they can show me their dance and we can have dance. And there's a line in that room that we told the line. We told the line, we don't cross lines. And those are the things that you're seeing with students and independence. So driving to no text, annotates, we talked about that. But I think it's more than just words, right? Because we are a data-driven school. Words matter, but numbers do too. And so just to give you some results, my grandmother always say the proof is in the pudding. So I'm gonna give you the recipe right now. The last STAR test that we just took, the average percentile rank for one class was 64. The other one was 63, the other one was 67. It was an average of 65. Now, for those of you who know what a percentile ranking is, on average, you're looking for 50%. You're looking for 50. So in all those classes, we're seeing students soar above a national average. And I shared this with them, I put it on the screen, and there's like a little line that comes up that shows where the regular progression of a natural student is in 7th grade, and their dot is way up here for all 3 classes. And when you show them that, shoulders get broader, smiles are brighter, and they're willing to do the work for you. Second piece, closing the gap. Man, this is my proudest moment. I had a couple of kiddos, one young lady who I'll leave anonymous, who increased, she started at a 7.6, I think it was, and went up almost 5 grade levels in 1 year. Not a semester, not 5 years. In a year, she ended up with 5 grade level interests. A young boy young African-American young man who didn't always see his strength in reading and writing. Chose the books that he felt comfortable with, or the ones that wouldn't, push him to the part where he had self-doubt. 4 reading grade levels in 1 school year. And we talked about the ELL students, as well as students who have individual education plans, are thriving, feeling good about themselves, and able to articulate who they are. This is the foundation, not just for 8th grade for next year, not just for high school for Nicolet. This is life skill. Like we have equity, non-negotiables, ELA and HMH curriculum allows non-negotiables. We don't make excuses. We follow the process. We have a rhythm about life. And crazy, I'm waiting for this to happen. My son graduates next week in LSU. I don't want to lead a class because our days are numbered, right? But I'm curious to see how they do without me. The first step without me, first day without me, because that's going to be a stepping stone for 8th grade. So thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is this a good time for questions now?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, we'll start with board members, like we always do, and then we'll move to any audience questions. Karen, you're up.
I was wondering, and I'm sorry guys, if you don't know, I have a special education background. So when you say it's adaptable to all levels, how adaptable is it? It sounds like from the high end, very adaptable. When we're going low, are we at the point of like picture supported, accessible curriculum?
Well, you can actually pick levels on, like, for example, right away you can have a prompt that is modified. You can have questions that are there as well, and then you can have little simple small steps that allow them to kind of build in the block.
Okay.
So even like center starters would be a good place to start, just to get the ball rolling a little bit. But then after that first 2 or 3 weeks, want to make sure they have even a graphic organizer that helps, a visual process that allows them to get that done. And then partner sharing and giving mentor decks really do the trick. So just kind of like blocking it off, chopping it down into smaller bites, I guess is a better way of doing it. And then also for me, it's just proximity, having those conversations, conferring with them and allowing them to really understand what the ideas and issues and the goals are.
Are you guys still using the Google Classroom to submit? Is the Google Classroom an active part of your school day?
Yeah.
And so it meshes well, you're able to.
They talk to each other.
Okay.
I just wanted to jump in on that. I have a student in my classroom who has dyslexia, so his comprehension level is really high, but he needs a lot of that decoding support. And this curriculum has been life-changing because the textbook, in the past, you'd have to copy the pages and put it online and do the speech to text.
this textbook, we have physical, but it's also completely online and everything can also be completely answered online, so he can easily use his speech to text. Like, I'm not, trying to get a whole separate thing together for him. Like, it's made for him. So it's been like such a breath of fresh air. And his family has also given the feedback, and he's given the feedback that like it's been really user friendly for him. And I feel like in the past, maybe he would kind of like, from what I've heard from years past, like he would kind of sit in the back, and maybe not always be on task. And now like he'll raise his hand right away and be like, okay, can you make sure I'm on the correct page in the online textbook? So it's been a really, really helpful tool in terms of having supports for all learners.
And each story too can be read aloud to them, every single one, where again, in the years past, we have spent hours searching on YouTube for read alouds or us recording it ourselves and buying books on Audible so that all the kids can have them. Every single one can be there for every child, whether or not they have an IEP 504 or just need extra support.
Yeah.
So and it follows along, like highlights along so that it can follow along. So
There is,
And I did want to add, I'm sorry.
no, go for it.
I did want to add like speech to text for writing.
Yeah.
Is a huge win for our kiddos. Allowing them to be, not feel so intimidated by the process and making mistakes. Just talk it all out. You can always go back and look for those errors and build on the grammar and vocabulary as well.
And does all of it exist within the HMH portal?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's all on the like ed platform, that teachers will pull some of these supports for, in addition to everything that they talked about. They do have, targeted summaries for supports for students as well, and also targeted vocabulary that's on the ed platform. So that just speaks to the high quality material. So like in the past, teachers have may had to create that themselves for students or go in and do it. So it's helpful to have that there. And it saves us time for planning, so we can really be focusing on that like quality instruction. Students do have the option to go online and have this in ed, and some students do based on their individual needs, but most of it is we've been using it paper pencil.
Thank you very much, you guys.
Katie?
How are the students, like, you guys said that they're able to find themselves in the books more, are they way more interested in these books than they were in the previous offerings?
I mean, I wouldn't say 100%, right? Kids are like, kids care less about Shakespeare and poetry. They want action, they want things. So you kind of have that. So you have to kind of like wait your turn.
Okay.
When the meal comes, but at the same time, you have to be able to honor all the things that come your way. So I told freshmen when I went to Nicolay, I had a couple conversations with some kiddos, AP, they're looking at Greek mythology. I'm like, great. So you might not be a fan of the Odyssey, whatever, but you can appreciate it and get the baseline for it right now, so that when you get in there, it doesn't feel like a foreign language to you. So, and even you can still take those moments to learn from them. And then when your chance to get the baton is in your hands, then now you can become that. So I say like, be more, have like a smorgasbord of skill levels and a palette. So when you're having discussions or you're in a class or you're amongst people or the community, talk about this about anything.
And within every unit, there's different texts that are, like Glenn was saying, that appeal to different readers. There's even different genres in them. There's informational text, there's stories, there's novels, there's poetry, there's excerpts from, stuff that's published. So I think just having that opportunity to have different ways that different kids can reach out and find the thing that they might be more accustomed to. I like informational text more. I can find it myself talking through this, and now I'm within the essential question. Now this other stuff's way more interesting to me because it's talking about the same thing with a different app.
I think there's every genre has its fan club and its naysayers.
And then as teachers, are these texts that you guys might possibly enjoy more than the previous options?
I like reading them, I like acting it out, I like becoming the character.
I think we're all a fan that there is like a text that we're all reading together to teach those skills, and so that students can really engage with it.
Okay.
And that have a strong understanding of the text, so that teachers are better able to support those students or extend those students that need it. So
Add something into that. I think that's been really important for me, because I think this is the first year I really feel like I can see who's struggling and why they're struggling, and specifically target the skills they're struggling with. Before, we would be reading like 7 different texts, and I had not read all of those texts. So it was very difficult for me. Whereas right now I can be like, cool, I have my small group in the back. We're working on claim evidence reasoning. We're working on inference. We're working on this background knowledge vocabulary skill. I can pull an extra lesson from HMH Ed. Like, that's helped me to feel more successful as a teacher, because you hate to see a kid struggling and you're like, I don't understand what you need. Like, I want to be able to support you. And here I'm like, cool, I know what's not clicking, or I think I know, and we can start working on that and fixing that. So like, that's been a good feeling for me.
That sounds super important and helpful.
And the diversity of authors.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
sectors,
that's
yes, and subjects, and because talk about identity and our equity non-negotiables, as one said, and I think the fact that there's so much more exposure, where in the past we would try, we had book clubs, we had lots of books, we worked really hard to have really diverse books, and we do, but they had 3 units a year, and so with how we used be able to do it. So just the exposure to a variety of diverse texts and authors is beautiful.
Chris?
First of all, I want to say thank you. I know how much work it is to adopt a new curriculum, and the openness that you've all shown in doing this. It's just wonderful, and it just speaks to my heart the way that it's evident you care about all the students and all the edges, and that's just wonderful. And my question is, do you see these stories and the discussions of these stories having an impact on culture, ultimately, the culture of Glen Hills?
I would think it's like similar to like dropping a pebble like in a little bubble, right? So it starts in that chair, and then it's a few kiddos in the classroom, and our hope is that once we open the door, it becomes filtered into the hallway, commons area, just part of what we do. So some of those are really, in-depth issues that they're still grappling with. I think once they wrap their minds around where they fit, where they stand, how the world sees it. Right now, the seventh grade mentality is me, right? How do I look at this lens through the eye? So we're just trying to widen to the me to the we.
Yeah.
And I think no French there, but I just think that's a possibility that they could we can see an empowerment movement, but it's going to take some time, I think.
Yeah, to speak on that, I think having the structure, I mean, when you look at any of the different textbooks, you see the same things every single time in terms of how it's formatted. So we talk about building discussion skills. This is only the first year we run it. Now all of a sudden you get to 8th grade, you get to 7th grade, you're starting to see the same things again. So you already know how to participate in those discussions. So now when you start getting those more in-depth topics, not breaking down the curriculum anymore, it's getting in with it, getting in with the text and all that, and being able to, talk through those things, and then just builds communication skills and kind of works toward that culture.
I think I've seen like more of a pride and care in academics in my class. Like this year we just finished Star, and I had kids like running up asking me for their score and how much it had changed, or wanting to know how they're doing in English. Coming and finding me during homeroom, hey, I missed a test, when can I take it with you? And like, I don't feel that was like the vibe before. I feel like they know that they can be successful, and they have an entry point to that, and they also know what the expectations are. This curriculum has very clear expectations, and they are high expectations, and we uphold them, and I think that the students want to meet that, and they want to, like, everyone wants to do well when they can do well. So I think this curriculum really supports the idea that like we are here to be scholars, and this is what we're doing, and we're gonna help you do that.
Just on last few sentences that I feel like there's the culture of our classrooms too is, as we talked about, the various entry points that now, we used to, whenever we had different groups we'd have to put together, oftentimes it's like, okay, well, these kids can have a discussion together because they're in a similar level. These kids, and now there's an entry point for every single student. So every single student on every single level is getting into a heated debate about the Telltale Heart in my 8th grade class. And again, kids who I had in 6th grade where it took my whole soul to get them to speak in front of the whole class. And so now everyone can talk about it and feel like they're successful and engaged and involved.
Thank you. super excited about the gap data. Thanks for sharing that, Mr. Allen. That's exciting because that's one of the most important things we're thinking about from a data perspective. So very exciting. Thank you for making me look up the word morphemic. I know that. I love the year-to-year curriculum focus. I didn't know that about HMH with like the big thematic human focus. That's very exciting. And I imagine that helps you kind of drive dialogue because you have these sort of singular themes and it is very equity based, it's very human based. And I just absolutely love that. What I'm hearing from what you're describing to me is that this curriculum is really effectively engaging students in sort of peer-to-peer learning. Is that a fair takeaway? It seems like it's really helped focus your like student to student co-learning and co-teaching. Is that fair? Yeah, okay, I love that too. Wonderful. Everyone's asking all the questions, super excited, super thankful that you came here. I know your days are long, so for us as a board, we're often very divorced from, there's like just time and space barriers between us seeing what you're doing in your classroom. So for me, this is very exciting to hear what you're doing, and I appreciate you putting in the time to be here.
My heart's really happy and full right now. I'm so excited for my kiddo to move into this curriculum next year. That being said, do they have a 4th and 5th grade curriculum? Oh, okay. Well, that is one of my, okay, so, okay. Awesome. Do they do social studies, science, math? Sounds like, it sounds really. Anyway, no, sorry. No, I have no serious question. No, I'm looking through the diverse text and I'm curious if identity is code for queer representation or if you see any queer or LGBTQ representation or disability representation within the text. So, just something that, I don't know, I don't see it laid out here, so I don't know if.
So one place that people know me, one of my biggest passions is read alouds, especially again in middle school. So in the curriculum, there's also a section in each unit with long reads in there, and there are novels. And the novels is where there's more of that. Wonder is one in 6th grade. I would. I'm sorry, my right.
I guess my
but
thing
the long reads, there's more.
In terms of like an update on this as we go along, I'd love to see that they're named. We know where they exist.
Yeah,
Text that highlight.
We'll take a look at
Disability
that,
and representation.
like Grace was saying, the long within the like reader's choice section, which was not one of our focuses this year, because it's not part of their like structured tier 1 curriculum, but that's something that we'll be looking into trying to like add a little bit more into next year. But there is more. The ones that are listed are all within the like tier 1 instruction. Like that kids will read aloud or teachers will read aloud within their classroom or work within their classroom. So there is more representation within those readers' choice, and we can take a look and make sure that, everyone is represented and that maybe there's some specific ones that we need to make sure that we are reading.
Because we did, there is like space and time with our block schedule to add read aloud. So like our first read aloud we did this year, the main character was deaf and her parents were LGBTQ, so we
yeah,
so we're we still have really, and it was really cool. I had 2 students come up and they were like, oh, my sibling signs or my mom's interpreter, and I had one student halfway through who was like, wait, she's deaf. I was like, where you got me? So I think what I was gonna say is that we are intentionally bringing those pieces in with our read-alouds and other work.
That's awesome. I guess I just like for the piece that I love of is you guys talking about all sort of being consistent in terms of like pacing and text that you're reading. So like when you're bringing in these kind of ad hoc pieces, are you doing it like as a
we both
grade
teach
level?
8th grade and we did it through the whole 8th grade.
Okay,
and we have
That's
like
cool.
comprehension questions that we came up together with during our PLT.
Yeah, that's where that like PLT collaboration comes in.
Cool. All right, I just appreciate like your guys's passion and care for these kids. It's just oof. Love it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Robinson, you have a question?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Mr. Allen, thank you for sharing the data points. So from a parent perspective, I feel like I'm always behind. There's like a very steep drop off of communication when it comes to progressions of a student academically from third grade into Glen Hills. So while we have STAR tests, I feel like then we're behind, right? Like my kid doesn't perform well on a STAR test and I'm like, shit, are they behind? When really, I don't even feel like a STAR test can accurately depict where a student is actually at. So a data point as a parent that I would be more interested is, okay, if I started at this grade level and then in 3 months jump 3 grade levels, that's way more important to me than any STAR test. And so I think communication to the parents would also make it more sticky, because then we would be able to say, okay, I can actually see that my child is progressing in grade level learning rather than waiting for a STAR test and then not really even knowing if they are behind or not. Like, did they have test anxiety that day? Did they have a bad day? Like, I just don't feel tests are a way to accurately depict where a student's at. And for a parent's perspective, it's more exciting to see progress than an actual grade. So kudos to you guys. I think you guys should leverage that analytics and communicate that and broadcast that to parents.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that reminds me of one thing that we're going to be focused on too next year, is that with HMH, it does offer reports and real-time feedback for students, as well as one of our goals will be to be consistent and collaborate on what pieces of our work are going to go home to families, so they're seeing student work and student progress more than just at the trimester or at a STAR test. So that is also, there's a lot of things, but yeah, that is one of our next steps as we, like I said, work to really build that like teacher leadership and like broaden our capacity with these materials.
Can I?
Always.
Okay, cool. I just was really excited about the family piece with this year. This is the first year I've gotten really good feedback from families saying that they felt like they knew more what was going on in English.
We use those letters a lot.
Yeah, it's easier to email out and say what's going on and to give. I've had some families who are like concerned about their student progress. It's been easier to give specific feedback and to say, hey, like these are 3 things you could do at home with your students. So I know like we all want to work together to see kids succeed, and I think this curriculum makes it much easier to communicate in a way that feels like understandable outside of a percentile. And I think a lot of parents don't get how they can work with their kid based on that percentile. This program has a lot of like easy ins for parents of things you can do at home, so that's been really cool.
And we only just scratched the surface.
Okay, any other questions, comments from visitors? Anyone online? Hold on. Visitors, you're not.
She made eyes at me.
Okay,
No, sorry.
Hold on. Going once, going twice. Yes, ma'am.
I'm disoriented in this space. I'm sorry. No, I was just to Ashley's comment about sharing out. I wanted to just see if Anna or Carla or someone would just maybe briefly talk about our KPIs, because I think that they're being rolled out, but I think that they will also kind of speak to that. And,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
On our district website, underneath our strategic plan are all of our KPIs, and we'll have ongoing metrics that are public facing. That can show how we're growing as a school and how we're moving as a at each school, like as a district, right? So that's like that high level district, but we also recognize very strongly the need for us to continue to push some of that work out. And Ms. Stick and Ms. Weiss-Balacki and the building principals and I have been working a lot on how do we start to tighten up grading and communication for families over the next year, because we know that that's an area that needs to continue to get work done. We help parent universities where we held a lot of information about that. I know it's tough for parents to make other commitments with busy lives and jobs, but there's been a lot of detailed information that's been provided during those times, and we want to make sure we're figuring out the best way to get that into parents' hands. So we're always looking for the feedback on, if it's not coming out to us in the evening, how can it be received? Because we want to get it to you, right? Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Please be gone from our boardroom, teachers. Go ahead and have a nice evening. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you. Sorry. Oh. Let's take our 500 now. For the. Okay. We are in recess for 5 minutes. Oh my gosh. Is that okay? It's like. Exactly.
Live.
I did it before. I was actually talking with the church. So yeah. All right. Back online?
Yes, we are live.
All right, we're back from
I feel a little
recess.
discombobulated.
In our,
Back to 3A, correct?
now we're a little bit flipped. We've flipped ELA curriculum and E4E. And so now we are looking at 3A education for employment.
For real this week.
All right,
Howdy,
howdy
everybody.
everybody, for being patient.
Oh my
I know we're behind time.
Yeah, and
That's it.
so all of those educators make me feel happy and rejuvenated and really good. So I'm proud of their work, truly. I'm here to present for you the Education for Employment, Academic and Career Plan. In short, the E4E ACP plan. This is, the layout is gonna look very similar to what you looked at last school year. And there hasn't been a significant amount of change to it this year. It's something we need to bring forward annually. And I'll just kind of walk through some of the pieces of it and talk to you about some of the goals and commitments we would like to make for next school year. So again, this is required by the Department of Public Instruction. E4E is essentially or obviously aligned with our mission. The goal is to really help students learn about themselves, who they are as humans, and to be able to look outward into the world about what opportunities may exist for them out in life, potentially career, work, fun, all of those things. That's the goal. A team of people walked through some of this work with us, but the main bulk of this was organized by the school counselors. Amy Wilborn and Marion Gillen did a bulk of the work, and also tabbed Mr. Tilley at Parkway as well. I wanted to fast forward a little bit to some of the career readiness data. Just kind of knowing that our students have guided play and social emotional learning daily. Our students participate in visual and or performing arts during the school day. That's something we're really proud of at Glen Hills, and it is an important thing to highlight. And we offer a variety of, they're called CABLES, which stands for career-based learning experiences. These are things that are offered and provided to our children all day, every day. Sometimes we're just not giving ourselves credit for it, and to be able to kind of pull back and highlight some of the cables that are being offered to our students is really important. We're doing all that we can do to try to capture those as they occur during the school year. But our teachers do great things in bringing guest speakers, organizing field trips, doing career-related projects, service projects. And obviously our clubs and things are also aligned with those cables. We have career clusters here organized by grade, and those are being taught in a variety of different subject areas. And then we had to look at some of the most updated labor market information, which analyze kind of where projected later career clusters occur, and where some of the jobs, some jobs are projected to grow faster than average. Okay, it's really young for students to be like aiming for a career, so but it's nice for them to know what's out there, right? That to even know what possibilities exist. We also looked through some of the other other types of clubs and activities that are open to our students, because we know that our district invests a lot in those clubs. But we also really feel like those are learning opportunities our students are given outside of the classroom, where they're learning about themselves, learning about their strengths, and then also learning about other options are available to them in the world. And we wanted to give ourselves credit for those clubs as well. And I also want to draw your attention to the clubs at Parkway too. And we may not have even captured all of them. There's a lot, they're getting added,
Yeah.
right? Every,
They change.
yes. But we feel really proud of that, truly.
Writing club.
Yeah.
Dancing is the best. It's on it.
The career readiness professional development for staff, this is mostly done at Glen Hills. The counselors are talking about that with the teachers and staff at Glen Hills. And then entering into some of the classrooms. So some of the very specific academic and career planning lessons we're using Zello for that. And so they are at some specific classrooms where they know they'll have the greatest likelihood of catching all the students. So if I kind of move down a little, if you're okay, I love this graphic. No, we want to make sure our students know who they are. Okay, know their interests, their skills, their strengths, give them an opportunity to explore. Where do I want to go? Exploring career pathways, educational opportunities. And then go is recalculate as needed and then plan. So for our students, when we were thinking about know, explore, go, plan, we're not thinking as much about choosing post-secondary options. We're not talking about careers as much, but kind of looking at student interests and thinking about how they're preparing for making those high school course selections, because we feel like that's really important for them to know about themselves as they're planning for those high school course selections. And that's one of the adjustments we after we were talking this school year, that we felt we needed to make sure we're starting Zello earlier in the school year, just to make sure we feel like students were able to dive into that more deeply before their high schools are asking them to choose their electives. So that's like a learning, a place where we would like to grow. So you can kind of see these different areas: know, explore, plan, go, and how that's kind of broken down. And then you can see how it's broken down by grade level, from kindergarten all the way down to 8th grade. So as we were talking just about ACP and the ACP plan, we felt like when we were thinking about future goals for implementation, we feel good about ACP. We are using Zello. That's something that the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction has selected as like the provider. Other school districts may choose another option, but this is free to us. And why wouldn't we use something that's free and that many other districts are using? So we felt that was really important. We feel like one of our weakest areas here is parent engagement with this process. And that's something that we really wanted to commit expanding that. And one simple like commitment we felt we could make was holding an ACP night with families, bringing them in, getting families access to the portal in Zello, because there is a way to do that. And James knows how he can make that happen for us. I'm very grateful for that. And having a night to invite families of 7th and 8th graders come in and look through Zello, look through the portfolio with their students, and also talk to them about how this can inform their high school course selection. So I think I already plunked a date for that on the calendar next year in December. So when it's on the calendar, I know what happens. So that was we also, and you know, I think we wanted to make one solid commitment, and then
like always under promise, over deliver. Some of the other things we chatted about were maybe having some brown bag lunches and bringing more guest speakers in and letting students know, hey, if you want to learn about this career, come into the boardroom, bring your lunch, and they'll be in here to talk to you about what they do.
What a nice idea.
I know,
For
and
20
easy, and
Yeah.
easy, and we have families that live within our school district with such amazing like diversity of careers and hobbies and things that they do. That, you know, we talked about the potential of doing that, and that would not be like moving mountains to make that happen.
No, you just gotta get parents to volunteer.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a really
Yep.
neat idea.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, so that would be like our
So
under
exciting.
the table, like something we really want to strive for, but like our solid commitment is having this annual ACP night and see where that goes and see how that feels. There, and I'll be honest, there was a learning curve. We have a new school counselor here serving some of our upper grades, and like this was a learning curve for her, and but it was great. She did great, and it's going to be even better next year.
Okay, Chris is on first.
Yeah, thank you. I don't have any questions.
I had a couple questions. This is great, by the way. It's fun. It's fun to see. I love the idea of engagement with parents because I remember, I mean, it's like a running joke in community, right? You probably remember this, like kids would come home and like, be like, Zello told me I will be a deep sea diver in the North Atlantic, that's my best choice. And I'm like, that's a career option. You've decided, right? Stuff like that, where you're like, oh, I wish I had known that a program at school was telling you what your career path is. So I'm really excited about the idea of bringing in parents. Here's my only comment. The only thing that made me sad is when I looked at the, you're gonna laugh, at the list of career clusters by grade.
Yes.
I wish education was in each grade. It's education is only in 7th grade, and I was like, gosh, but we should honor the teaching profession and have a teacher cluster and education cluster in each grade. Wouldn't that be great? That was just my reaction, because you know, it's a great profession.
It's amazing.
It's what you guys do. That's it. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Yes, I like the report's very comprehensive. That one thing I get stuck on is just like it feels like a report versus like a long range plan, and I don't know if that's like is this. So I'm wondering, like, is this like a common template for a long range plan that most schools use? Because in the statute it doesn't. Do you? Oh,
I think it's a required report, right? Yeah.
Well, no. The report is, yes, the report is required to be issued by the school board after we review the long range plan with you every year. So when I was asking about, is this the long range plan? I'm wondering, like, do the future vision and goals, is that kind of how we like are making this a long range plan? Or I would envision it spanning more than like one academic year. But what I'm wondering is like, maybe this is just the common practice, this is the common template, I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that this was used as an exemplar template for other districts in CISA 1 to utilize.
Okay, so that's,
Which,
that's nice.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay, see, because I thought maybe it's just my not
And I
knowing
think
this.
others are using
world.
that template and others are not. So like if you looked at like Nicolay's template looks very different, right? But
Well,
they're
they're
very different.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then how do we, like, there is a requirement in the statute that the board reviews and evaluate, or that this review, we're supposed to evaluate students' post-secondary outcomes, which is like, we don't, like, is that just something we just don't have to do? Or
I would say the fact that in our KPIs that we're tracking are on track to graduation for freshmen.
I wonder
The students that go to Nicolay, that like
having credit attainment at the high school level, when you're thinking about that, is one of the markers of post-secondary success for high school students.
Okay.
So
That-
if they're
yeah,
on
that-
track to graduation, then we're meeting that. The other area that we measure on track to graduation is in eighth grade math scores too.
So
Yeah.
maybe next year those would be included as part of
That's a
the.
great idea.
That's a great
Just
idea.
because it just
Yeah.
says the board's supposed to review, so
And it's
whatever
residents
outcomes we.
for-
Yeah, and then the other thing I thought was, you mentioned extracurriculars, and we have a KPI for extracurriculars, so that's also tied
Yeah.
into this. As well as like family engagement.
Love it.
Right,
love
yeah, I'm
it.
just like,
Yeah.
whereas, because if you're gonna bring, you're gonna get people in, that's also, we're also gonna probably have more families that feel more connected to the school,
Yep.
so that feels like those. Are all kind of work together.
Yep.
So give yourself credit in all those areas, you know?
Yep.
And then just anecdotally, yes, brown bag lunch, I just will say that I know in Hari's fifth grade class, they brought in an author to talk about writing. And at the end, like in the last month or two, his teacher has commented that like the quantity of writing he is willing to put out that is not like prompted or like pulled out of him, like has just increased. Like she showed me a whole page he wrote and I was like, you did that? You know, she's like, I didn't even check, right? So I'm like, and we correlated it because like right after the author came, he wrote a little book, like.
Yeah.
And so I just think those are really, so the brown bag lunch and bringing people in and that exposure sounds great. Our lunch is like 20 minutes long though, like is that all you're getting with a person? Maybe it's enough, but
It's really fast. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree, it's really fast.
like, I don't know how I would talk about.
But I also don't wanna put,
Yeah, it's a balance.
so and so like up in front of a whole class of kids at like the informal feel of asking somebody that doesn't typically present to kids, like,
Yeah.
could be less
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah, anyway, I appreciate
Thank
all
you.
of this,
I love
but I
that.
just, yeah.
Thank you.
It was great. Thank you very much.
I'm just curious, do you know what program Nicolay uses? Cause my freshman they had career day and, like they had their, I think it was, I don't know, the juniors had their ACTs or something. They had to do career.
That's right.
Just like, oh, it's a different program, I like this better. But that's my kid, but do you know what they use?
So, they're using Zello.
Are they really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, it's on their ICP plan too.
Okay.
So you-
Wonder why she thought it was different.
They might have been, they might have been using maybe a different platform potentially, I don't know, to see if they would like something better, I'm not sure, but they, technically there's Zello.
Maybe it gets more exciting as you get older.
Maybe.
That could be
Yes.
Did any questions or comments? Anyone here? Our remaining three visitors, any questions or comments for Kelly? All right, this is an action item. Any further questions or comments from the board? So if someone wishes to, someone could make a motion.
Sorry.
I move to approve the education for employment E plan as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion among board members? All right, motion by Karen Cromwell, second by Danielle Bailey to approve the education for employment E4E plan. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries, and Kelly, thank you so much. Thanks for staying late.
Absolutely.
All right, we have already done the ELA curriculum update. We have already looked at summer maintenance priorities, so we are on to 5B, CISA 6 payroll contract.
Yeah, the district has been contracting with CISA since last fall. They've been running our payroll since January, when Tracy Beaver retired. And this is a proposal for the 26-27 year to continue that. We've been finding efficiencies and, this is a lower cost than what they've anticipated because they're used to our system now and they're working well with us.
Very surprised.
Yes.
Why, the price of the contract?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it went down
not
the last
bad.
one.
Yeah.
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 It's, yes.
I believe there is
Testament.
also in
an increase in fee because they were coming in on kind of an emergency basis and
Right.
they were working through our, like, making our systems more efficient,
Yeah.
so.
I thought those were the contributing factors, but I was like, holy cow.
Sorry, our excitement has
Yeah.
interrupted you,
I apologize.
Michelle.
Sorry.
Back to you.
We're bringing it to for approval.
Should we start with a motion and then we can discuss?
I move to approve the 2026-27 CISA 6 contract.
Second.
All right, who's on first? Katie? Questions, comments?
Not really, I mean, the big one was how does it compare, and obviously it's better, so.
Chris? That was literally my question too. How are we coming in lower? But it's just efficiency, right? They'll still be doing the same one.
And they like our district too. They said we're doing well.
Oh, that
It's
was
good,
nice to
it's set up
hear.
Well, it's not a mess. It's not a mess.
Should submit that in our audit.
You get all the credit. It's your hard work, so thank you. Yep. Danielle?
No.
Anyone else? Hard. No, thank you. Anyone online, visitors? All right. Fun. Let me write this in my motion book. All right, there is a motion by Danielle Bailey, second by Karen Cronwell to approve the 26-27 CISA 6 contract. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Michelle. All right, 6A, staffing updates.
All right, so we have some staffing updates going on right now. Two of them would be looking at the 2 part-time custodial positions within admin content, I believe, or was it public admin? Or public, it's public?
It's all public.
Yeah, oh, shoot.
Yep.
You don't have, it's just a job description, though, I don't think you have. Something
It's the
is,
opera cutter.
it's just a job, I'm having a lot of issues right now currently with Ford Doc.
Yeah.
Getting things, like I can't
Yeah.
load things.
Do you want to see what I'm seeing in public content?
Just the job description.
What if it's the updates that did it?
All of it is in public.
Yes,
Yeah. The
It's been nationwide over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just saying the
Can you
issues.
just, can you pull?
I can move it,
right,
or, yeah, because that's not supposed to be
No, it shouldn't
publicly
be.
available.
The job description?
No, the.
Oh, the other things, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, job description seems fairly benign. I don't know.
No, it's the individual resignation letters.
All right, I will continue.
Okay.
I break these down. So the first one would be the part-time, the day custodian, and the job description is in there. Wanting to ensure that our custodians have the ability to do the work that needs to be done. One of our noticings is where we're doing walkthroughs in the buildings and looking at like their draw and pull. I think the fire alarm was a good example today. We also had a fire alarm go off while they were unclogging toilets upstairs. And so there are things that require them to be available to us. Michelle and I also had an opportunity to take a look at sort of the mass accumulation of unused time off and overtime that we're experiencing as an indication to us that they are unable to attend to the maintenance needs. So the idea would be to help the 2 of them separate some of their roles as head custodians and have these 2 part-time custodians be from like 9 o'clock to I think 2 o'clock during the day, which would help us, like they could come in and open. This would allow them to have that support over the lunch periods when there's a lot of heavy cleaning that needs to happen and garbage removal. And then by 1 o'clock, we would start to have evening custodians for second shift start to enter in the building because they're staggered in the evening to cover the takedown and setup of gyms and things like that, and then that would help cushion that, and then that person would come in at Parkway too and could begin some of the right now Kevin is doing some of the intermediary work to prepare Ed to be able to do the evening work, so that person could do that for Kevin as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
Okay, let's start with a motion and then discussion.
I move to approve, did I say the creation of, or it's not. Yeah,
It is the
it is
creation.
Okay, I move to approve the creation of 2 part-time custodial positions. Or one for Parkway and one for Glen Hills, is that, or is it?
Just-
either? Yep. Sorry, yeah, it was a little messy.
So one for Parkway, one for Glen Hills.
Okay, okay.
Is that, yeah.
Second.
Okay, first up, Danielle.
I have to say, good agenda planning, having Kevin and Brandon here to just kind of pave the way for this. I would love to be able to, you know, give them some breathing room and let them do some of the more administrative maintenance piece. So I appreciate this. And if you could just talk to, I think that like how this fits into our budget. Because I think there was a question. Yeah, if you could just talk a little bit about how, I think there was a community question somewhere maybe around why not one full-time, or I don't know, that there's. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, we would be bringing this person in, right around the 90% of the average of the mat. Part-time, no benefits other than, WRS and FICA and Medicare, and then I believe, short-term disability and life insurance. The savings would be monumental. We could get many more hours. At 29 hours a week, we would be getting, with a full-time person, if we had one full-time position, it'd be 2,080 hours a year. So that would be holiday. With 2 part-time at 29 hours a week, we would be getting 3,016 hours. So we would be getting hundreds more hours. For the same cost as one full-time person with full benefits. That's the difference there with, you know, that. The funds would be coming from savings from our other positions that the turnover there.
Retirement or resident.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a break even, or are we gonna be spending a little more?
We still have some open positions, in other areas, waiting to see what those cost differences are from the turnover.
Okay.
Yeah, could be break even.
I'm good, thank you.
Karen?
So currently, the daytime custodial staff is limited to 1 individual per building.
Until.
I had no concept that that was the case. Yeah, that's incredible.
Those 2 have been, that's crazy.
I'm just astonished.
So we cut, I mean, as we moved through some of the financial pieces and we cut back after the retirement of one of the head custodians, we pulled that back.
Sure.
In the initial years that I began working here 5 years ago, there were 2 people here during the day.
Yeah.
One person was doing a lot of heavy maintenance, the other person was doing a lot of heavy cleaning.
Right.
You see the difference. I mean, if I'm speaking frankly, if you walk the building, you see the difference with the replenishment of supplies, the need of kids having to come to the office and say, hey, like we're out of this there. Also just like garbage overflow, things like that, like, you know, it's noticeable. And it matters. I mean, I think, you know, it matters the environment that kids are in. And I feel like having a cleaner space sends a message to our students about how we care for our spaces, right? So I do think it is necessary. And I think the ability for them to start to fix some of the things and not have to have us contract out because they don't have time is also huge.
Well, I think that was a really insightful comment for them to share. And I think for our purposes, and by no means, I don't mean for this to be like a criticism, but like it helps to know, like, yes, we're creating 2 positions, but this is how we plan to fund it. And this is like recouping overtime. How much overtime are we paying out? You know, like
supply.
That's you know, and also like mental health.
Yes.
It's gotta be hard to feel like you can't leave. I think the idea that and I love the local Ace Hardware people, like props to them, but it's not the cheap, it's not, you know, like that's a hard choice to make.
And just ping ponging through the day, like we described, it's just a hard.
It's complicated for sure. I guess from a broader perspective, I am really curious about how we continuously, and it's probably an art, right? But how do we continuously say things like, we're confident that we're capturing this in other, you know, in the changes of salaries, or is there like a running tally, or how do you
Yeah,
track that? Like, how do you possibly?
I'm
have
working on
confidence
it, I
in
have all
that?
these pieces and I have projections of certain
Okay.
things, and then when we do replace that position, I could see that cost difference.
Yeah, like it just starts to.
When people retire.
Like my
Mhm.
radon, then
Yeah.
your basement, like this.
Yeah, and one thing too, I know this isn't last year's budget, but, a couple of years ago, when we did have 2 daytime people, this cost is only slightly at that point, we've been below, I think it was $636,000 2 or 3 years ago for staffing for our custodial department, salaries and benefits. And this, at 29 hours a week would bring us to 671,000. And that's factoring in a health insurance increase for those, but for the whole custodial team.
And all of the CPI increase,
Yes.
so they,
Right.
we raised, right, so like,
It's pretty good.
Sure.
like, I think that's another way that I think Michelle and I sat down and really took a look at that analysis too across years. To make sure we're not out of whack, like we're not coming up out of whack.
Yeah. Oh, one last question, except I think it just fell out of my head.
We can come back around.
Just kidding. Oh, no, I shouldn't.
We're all looking up.
We're like, where'd it go?
It's like in Queen's
Is it-
Gambit.
Just keep going.
We'll come back.
Katie?
I don't really have a lot of questions, but, are we going to be able to pull them away from their day jobs to potentially help select the new people, so they can make sure that they will fit well, or?
Yeah, we're reviewing for fulfilling summer custodians, and I mean, Michelle and I have weekly standing meetings for them. Not unheard of that they get pulled away from that,
Right,
but
yeah,
we do have standing weekly meetings where we review candidates and develop the time to do those interviews, and I know last summer they helped us interview, and so they've had that experience doing that work too.
Awesome.
Yep.
Just wanna respect.
Yeah,
Their experience and
absolutely.
that they know the buildings, but they also know the
Absolutely.
culture.
Yeah, they need to be a part of that team.
Chris? I asked most of my questions already, but just, if you can remind me, when would these start?
We would probably look at if we could get them posted at starting them in, I think our other person we were looking at starting in August for the start of the new school year, if that makes sense. Cause I think the thinking was we already have a pool of summer cleaners that would
Got
be
it.
coming in. So we don't wanna overstaff in the summer, right?
Uh-huh.
We wanna have just a little bit of crossover in August so that we can help, like Kevin and Brandon can work with those people to train them up.
Uh-huh.
And then they have that crossover.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, yep.
Thank you for thinking about our custodians in the buildings. It is, you know, I find personally, it always hurts that we don't have a budget that allows us to give everyone benefits. That's the reality we live in, and it's hard, and it's just the reality, and I think we all share this feeling, so I just wanna say that out loud. It's the bitter pill of modern funding challenges for public schools. And I wish legislators could see what kind of decisions we're having to make. For people who are just working for a living in Wisconsin, I feel angry at our funding limitations that don't allow us, and to changes in healthcare costs that don't allow us to do what we know is right. And I know it hurts you to bring proposals like this to us, so I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for being willing to do just the hard stuff and to remind us what we have to do to make our budget fit for our kids. It just sucks.
Well, I remember a question.
What's that?
And on the heels of your comment, it's gonna sound really callous.
Wait, are you done?
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, but go ahead, finish. what
No,
you're-
no, I just want to say but yeah, that's it.
So the last time we had a new staff or a staff hire that was supposed to be part-time, we, in a pretty short turnaround, were asked to make it a full-time position. There's been value brought to that, but arguably there'd be value for 2 people to become full-time as well. So is the longitudinal vision of these positions that they become full-time? Or do you anticipate maintaining this as a part-time position?
I think I would anticipate maintaining as a part-time position. I also will add that some of the full-time work that other position did afforded us some of the efficiencies that you're seeing in the CISA 6.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not, I mean, I wasn't suggesting it was an.
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no, not at
I
all,
hear
but
what
I
you're
just,
saying.
I mean, I think it's also looking at. When you're thinking about the organizational pieces, you have 3 custodians in the evening, at Glen Hills, and you have 1 custodian in the evening at Parkway, right? There's that crossover to me is the coverage, it's a very, like, it's a different working situation, and it's about having the people there when we need them, right?
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
a scope of work that is too overwhelming for one person to do in a space.
Sure. Okay, any other questions? Discussion? All right, we have pending a motion by Daniel Bailey, second by Karen Cronwell to approve 2 new part-time custodial positions, 1 for Parkway and 1 for Glen Hills. All in favor? Aye. I think I heard 5 ayes, motion carries.
All right.
Okay.
All right, the next piece is the resignation of Danielle Flores Delgado at the end of this school year, so she will not be returning to our school next year. So that is there, and then also approving the hire of Blair Ewan as our school psychologist starting in the 26-27 school year.
I move to approve the resignation of, of course, my board doc's just here, of Danielle Flores Delgado at the end of the 25-26 school year.
Second, sorry.
All right, motion by Danielle Bailey, second by Karen Cronwell. Any discussion?
Just wish her the best.
All right, motion is to approve the resignation of Danielle Flores Delgado at the end of this school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you, Ms. Flores Delgado, for your service to our district.
I move to approve the hire of Blair Ewan as school psychologist for the 26-27 school year. I massacred that. Ewan.
Ewan, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Was that Chris Robinson?
Mhm.
Second. Any discussion? Is this to replace an existing? or is
She's
this gonna
replacing
be-
Dr. Rodriguez. as
Ah,
the
that's
chairman.
right,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Impressive resume, excited to have her on board.
Welcome. Motion by Danielle Bailey, second by Chris Robinson to approve the hire of Blair Ewan as our school psychologist for the 26-27 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome, Dr. Ewan. All right. Moving on to our annual reorganization. First, we have to elect officers. Someone can do it as a slate if you wish, or we could go individually through the offices.
I would make a motion to approve a slate of officers preserving the current structure we have now. Carl as president, myself as vice president, Karen as treasurer, Chris as clerk, and Katie as assistant clerk.
Second.
All right, discussion. Karn. Anything?
I would only open the floor to say if somebody had, I'm happy to stay as treasurer, I am happy to hand off. So,
don't be so
if there's, no, but literally, I mean, if there's interest in moving around, I'm happy for that to happen as well, but I think this is working, so.
I don't have the time in my day. I would love to move around, but at this juncture, I don't have the space, so. Stay where I'm at.
Good.
Yeah.
I guess I'm good. Nobody wants to be the president?
Okay, I will just say, throw my, no, I'm kidding. I just will say, I think continuity right now and consistency and like allowing us each to learn these roles and grow will help us for succession planning down the line and for defining what these roles do. So I think it makes sense now, which is not something me 6 years ago would have said probably. I was like, everybody needs to know everything all the time. Ugh. Anyway, so I think that's great. And Carla, you have been a great president, keeping us, grounded and this flat structure and just sort of modeling what that collaborative leadership looks like. So I'm very comfortable.
That's kind of
nominating everybody. Everybody's really stepped up into these roles and doing.
Everyone deserves to be the president and work with him. I get to work with Anna closely and it's like something anyone, Anna and I been talking about this, if you have time, and even if it's just by phone, to connect with Anna every month,
Yeah.
it's worth doing.
I think we look at that in our board workshop, like I'd be willing to look at that as being like a regular standing meeting with each of you once a month to help connect. If that's helpful.
I always feel like we're pulling you away from work.
Yes. You too.
I hesitate to ask more of you, since, I mean, I mean, literally the weekly updates.
Yeah.
That clearly isn't, like, I understand that you're moving through your week, you're just capturing, but that's not a light lift. I know.
It's not.
And you're very responsive when I do
Oh my
reach out.
God.
And as everyone is, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I'm open to that conversation. I'm not against it, but
Yeah,
but
and it
I
doesn't-
want also to honor, like, legitimately, I want you to understand that this is not your whole identity, and we know that.
If it is, we'd like you to help with running.
There's this thing called fellow.
Okay, off topic,
All
right, bring it down.
I just want to add to Danielle's point, like, I remember being in the room when you were like, everybody needs to know all the things. And I think why that has reduced for you is because we don't silo any information anymore. Everybody knows everything. And so it's okay to not switch your role every year, because you don't need to. We know what Bart knows, we know what Danielle knows. Yeah.
That's what flat, collaborative, equal does, right? So.
Which is why I try to loop everyone into, you know, like as you guys are individually giving me questions before a meeting, I'm looping all of you into the questions with a response. I love so that everybody can see where everybody else's head is at around that, which I think is really helpful because it helps you think of things that other people are thinking about. Yeah.
All right, fine. Motion by Daniel Bailey, second by Karen Cromwell, to approve the slate of officers, I'll just say it quickly, preserving our current structure and positions. All in favor? Aye, all right.
You guys all stay too, okay?
Okay, yes. Board meeting calendar. We have to approve a school board meeting calendar and.
I have attached a draft. I went through and took a look at some things. I know that this will likely probably have to do some moving around, but later date. Yeah, I mean, there might be some things that sit there. I'm worried a little bit about the March 24th with next year's calendar. I think I looked at it, but I'm feeling like that is a conflict, so let me just double check. Yeah.
Spring break, maybe?
Yeah, and I know I looked at it, but I don't, for whatever reason, it's not. Concerned that.
Don't be a stranger.
So we could just, we could approve this preliminarily and all this.
Yes, yep, absolutely.
Cause it's 8:20.
Do you remember though, when like 8:20 was only halfway through?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my goodness.
Spring break is during the 24th next year, so that is gonna have to get moved to the 31st. So I would make that change right away.
Okay. All right. So if someone were to make a motion to approve this calendar, it would be a motion to approve it with a change for the March 24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I move to approve the 26-27 school board calendar with the revision to the March meeting as discussed.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right, motion by Danielle Bailey, second by Chris Robinson to approve the 26-27 meeting calendar with that one discussion, the one change that was discussed. All in favor? Aye. Our calendar is approved. Item 8C, approval of depositories.
Yeah, there's been no changes.
Okay, yeah.
I move to,
Sorry. So these are exactly the same depositories as we've had for years, right? Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, I wasn't actually not saying that, I just.
but now you said it, so.
All right.
We're all looking at you.
I move to approve U.S. Bank of Wisconsin Investment Series Co-op, WISC, through PMA Financial Solutions as the depositories for school funds.
You just wanted to show off your fast speech.
Second.
It was actually,
That was me, yeah. Let's let everybody be great.
hold on. Martin spoke too fast and I'm still writing. All right, any discussion? All right, there's a motion by by Karen Cromwell, with a second by Katie Avalos to approve US Bank and Wisconsin Investment Series Co-op through PMA Financial Solutions as the depositories for school funds. All in favor? Aye, motion carries. Last 8D, designate administrator responsibilities. And this is where we designate, if they're willing to assume these responsibilities, Michelle Brown as our treasurer and Diana Knight to serve as clerk and secretary. Would anyone on the right side of the table like to make a motion?
I
We're all
move
on
to
the right
designate
going
Michelle
to-
Brown to assume responsibilities of treasurer.
Second.
Any discussion?
She's awesome.
Yeah, well, you get to meet with Michelle regularly, so
That's true.
yeah, that's something the rest of us miss out on. All right, there's a motion by Chris Robinson with a second by Katie Avalos to designate Michelle Brown to assume responsibilities of treasurer. Ms. Brown, are you willing to assume these responsibilities? All right, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Then I'll move to designate Diana Knight to assume responsibilities of clerk and secretary, should she have it.
Second.
Right, and Ms. Knight, are you willing to assume these responsibilities?
Yes, thanks for asking.
Hold on. All right, motion by Katie Avalos, second by Chris Robinson to designate Diana Knight to assume the responsibilities of clerk and secretary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, yay, we have officially reorganized. Woo-hoo. One last item, board planning and preview.
All right, couple things that I wanted to bring up in here, the WASB business honor rolls is open again, so I don't know if that's something the board wanted to consider again. I know Chris, you spearheaded that last year. So I just wanted to maybe just put that in your head to start thinking about essentially. So
How should we handle that? Should we, you wanna still be in charge of that and we'll shoot you our ideas or?
I can do that.
You have done?
Okay, do you need, yeah, and if you feel like you need suggestions from
Yeah.
Michelle and I too, where, I mean, we can give you some ideas of, you know, there's some local businesses that we work with pretty extensively. here that
definitely.
do-
So yeah,
that'd
we
be
can let that
fantastic.
out.
Yeah.
The other thing is because we've accepted so many things, I can go back in the minutes
Yeah.
and see. the
Oh,
like
yeah.
donation.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. All right, and then on 5/11, so next week, Monday, the 5th through 8th band concert is at 6:30 at Glen Hills. On 5/12, there's a parent university here at Glen Hills, with ways to support your child's emotional development. It is a really busy week. On the 13th, the 5th through 8th art concert is at 6:30 at Glen Hills, and then
I will be performing.
okay,
The star.
Carla's period and doing that night. And then 5/14, the 5th through 8th orchestra concert at 6:30, and then the following week, I just kind of wanted to do it up, is Camp Learn Some More, which will be happening at Parkway.
It's an art gallery, like an art review as well.
Art review, games, fun things going on, jam-packed, full of entertainment and excitement for young and learners and older learners alike, I think. Yeah.
Chris, did you have something?
I did have a question. Do we have to also designate our organizations or can that wait till another meeting? Like, you know how we
Oh.
have, you know, liaisons to.
Oh, right.
PTO. Do we have to do that today or? should we wait?
It's a later time.
Let me just double check our template for our agenda for I feel like it's on the next agenda.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just double check though, I just wanna make sure, Chris.
Yeah, I think,
Because if leadership changes, then it's like that.
I think typically we've done what we just did.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't remember.
But
Then sometimes combine.
yeah,
Okay.
We do need to get that on there, Chris, so thank you. for
Yeah,
the
yeah, we
reminder.
ju-
I'll put it on the next meeting.
Okay.
totally
Thank you,
forgot about
Chris.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Forgot. And also be aware that Anna is going to be out in the middle of next week because her daughter is graduating from college, so. Don't bother Anna on the 12th through 14th.
No,
Right.
just the Thursday and
Wednesday,
Friday.
Thursday.
Friday, I'm fly out Wednesday evening, so I'll be at work on Wednesday, so after the
Okay.
13th, I would like to be, just be a mom.
Not
Yeah.
persona non grata.
Permission granted.
Permission granted. We'll try to remember. And then, of course, we have a meeting tomorrow.
Who is the designee when you're gone?
Designee is typically, if table leadership is Jenica, Michelle, Kelly, yeah.
And then for the rest of us, we have a closed session meeting tomorrow. Well, let's start it open on Zoom. Diana's gonna teach me at 2 how to run the Zoom. So you will all have to bear with me at 7:30 as I incorporate and apply the knowledge that Diana imparts to me.
Did you want me to overlap with you?
Can you be here at 2?
Check.
Anyone who wants to come, I mean, she could teach us all. Yeah, but I'll definitely be here. I think once I'm shown, I will be able
I think
to.
so. I think I'm good, but could you set it
That's
up
my
so that I am a
Coverage.
I think that would be the right thing to do.
A what for Thursday
We could
night?
be co-hosts.
Sure.
So then.
So that one person is running the closed session and the other person is running open.
Oh,
And we are
oh.
not mixing and making a mistake.
Well, okay,
Nice.
someone will have to
Right,
explain what was
right.
just said to me on Thursday at 2. I learned.
Otherwise, we have to teach you how to do a breakout room.
So it's basically 2 separate meetings.
Yep, okay, but with one tag in a webinar.
Yes, because the public would not be in the closed
And the public
session.
would go into the session.
So we would all be
They
in
would
one
stay
and then
there,
we would move, but
right.
it's treated as 2 separate meetings. And it wouldn't be
be
recorded.
2
Anyway,
separate
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
2:00.
I will end all of those.
So the link then, the second link would be shared out.
I moved to adjourn, everything.
It doesn't have to be public, right? If it's the closed session.
Oh,
So it's just an
I
executive.
see.
It
We
would
just
be
leave the
executive.
one meeting and move into.
Yeah.
Got it.
It just simplifies a lot of things.
Yes.
Get it. But there's, just so you know, at Zoom, there's also the capacity to post, so that if you were like, I'm not sure what to do, I would be able to look at it and be like, oh, I do, here we go.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
So.
One motion left.
I move to adjourn.
Somebody second that motion. Motion by Barnes, second by Katie, all in favor, aye.
I'm gonna return that.
We made a, are we done recording?
No, 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 no.
I'm not sure it's like.
Make sure not to have 3 members in Zoom training, so you don't have
Oh,
to
right.
notice a meeting.
Yes,
Oh,
of
sure.
course.
Yeah, the chances.
Thank you,
of my
Mr. Martin.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very good.
We made up a lot of